wrong, make you do right. Yeah. Love.
Very coconutty.
That's definitely
Very coconut. Very, very
pause unless the people that. Anyway, episode 6. What?
7. Yeah. Wow. We passed the halfway threshold.
Yo, we've been working. Yo, shout out to Brothers Keepers Podcast, SFX Studios, man. You know, having us here.
We in here.
Yeah. As of right now, we're talking about peace.
Okay.
And you know, like I said before, what is it? You know, and why it's important to have it. You know, I feel like peace affects everything that you got going on if you don't have it. You know, they say love is peace. You know, they say that when your mind is altered, forget drinking, you're not even supposed to drive. You know, so imagine what, you know, dysfunction, you know, and not having peace can do to your mental, you know, in terms of not even making the right decision, whether, you know, being behind the wheel or not. And like, that's just one example. But peace is important because if you don't have it, you can't move right. You know, I can't love you the right way being my brother if I'm not at peace. You know what I mean? Because I can't be my best me. You know, and that was one of the things that I thought it was important.
So what are some of the ways you feel like having a lack of peace, right, or not having peace? Like, how does that hinder you? You feel like, and maybe not just you, but just in general. Like,
well, one thing about not having peace, the way it hinders you is the fact that you can make poor choices. You know, when you're damaged, when you're hurt, when you're feeling mentally attacked. That's without peace. When you have anxiety, you know, and all of those stem to emotion, you know. So without peace, you know, if you're making decisions off of emotion, that only causes for more dysfunction, you know. So whether it be peace, you know, at work, you know, whether it be peace in your relationship, whether it be peace with your homies, you know, this is something that we have to learn how to create. You know, it's nobody's else's job to create peace for you. You have to learn to create that for yourself. Now, you do have to be in charge of the energy around you, but that's controlling your peace. You know, so you have to, that also relies into the choices. If you follow what I'm saying so far.
No, I do. But so what is it? What is it? How do you get it?
How do you get it?
How do you go from not having peace to coming into peace?
See, the thing about that is everybody's peace is different.
Is it?
I mean,
are you saying everybody's peace is different, or what gives everybody peace is different?
What gives everybody peace is different.
Okay.
Everybody has a different consideration of what they, you know, that's why some people could deal with what you deal with. You know, they take it on the chin. You over there in depression. Right. You know what I mean? But they're peaceful. You know, that's okay for them. So it really depends on what can have you at a calm point in your life where you're still able to receive, grow, and enjoy. You know, it's a part of happiness. You know what I mean? Everybody want happiness, but really we should want peace. You know, I need to be in a space where I can make the best decisions and be the best me. And you can't always do that when a lot of things are going on. The way that you could probably attack it, I would say, you know, is definitely going to God about it. You know what I mean? Because every day we wake up, somebody's dying. It's always a bill in the mail. You know what I mean?
Always.
You know, it's always something tragic happening. You know, people fighting over politics and things like that. You know, all these things around us create chaos.
That's a fact.
And some way we got to find a way to manage it and create the peace.
Yeah, I believe that. And you know, I think I agree with you saying that there's multiple I don't want to say multiple sources, but there's multiple things that can get you to that place.
Right. Facts.
You know what I mean? And it's multiple stages. I think maturity is a big part of it.
Major.
Because a lot of times the dissatisfaction we feel with our circumstances, which can be a lack of peace, it comes from, frustration and, like I said, in some ways, immaturity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Wanting the instant gratification, especially at this day and age. We talked before about the microwave society that we kind of live in.
Right.
And how, that instant gratification is something that people feel not just expect, but they feel entitled to it. You know what I mean? As if they don't get that instant gratification, there must be a problem.
It's a problem.
It's not that I have to buy it or whatever. So,
right.
On the topic of peace, I just think it like most things boils down to your perception, and it boils down to what your expectations are.
Right.
We talked before managing your expectations,
and everybody's is different.
Right.
Right.
Right. But peace is crucial, and then I think it's also sometimes it's not you're not supposed to be at peace.
I knew you.
I was gonna hit that angle.
I already knew it. I was waiting for it. I knew you was about to curveball it with that, because you're right about that too, though.
Yeah, it's a time and a place, man. It's a time and a place. Some things you ain't supposed to make peace with. And I was having another infamous debate today.
Hold on, time out.
What?
Some things you're not supposed to make peace with.
Yeah.
Nah, can't agree with that.
Hear me out.
Okay.
So I was having a conversation today with somebody. We was going back and forth about politics.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite subject.
Right.
Not really. But, and we were just talking about some of the different principles that exist from different political perspectives. And, what it boils down to for some people is not even politics. It's more ideology and what that person believes.
Right.
And there's some things politically that I'm just not going to agree with.
Right.
From a moral standpoint. And those things, I have no desire to make peace with them. If I feel like a thing is morally wrong or evil is a word I like to use, because I don't think enough people use the word evil. If I say something is evil and I really believe that, I don't want to make peace with it.
But that's where I feel like it's wrong, because with peace is also compromise.
And there's certain things I won't compromise with.
No, you won't compromise what you'll do for certain things. But the compromise is the understanding that we agree to disagree. That creates the peace. See, it doesn't have to be a back and forth with anything.
I get what you're saying.
There just is, because there's so many differences of opinions, and guess what? I do feel this way, and guess what? I feel like when we talk about religion and things like that, you got Muslims who believe this, you got Christians who believe this, you got Buddhists who believe this, you got all these different genres of religion, But okay, you like that? That's cool.
Sometimes it's not cool. Sometimes it's not cool.
Sometimes,
like, what if my religion is to rape people and murder infants?
I mean, come on.
Like, what if that's my
come on.
Seriously,
raping people and murdering infants, is no peace in that at all.
For some people, that's their way of life. I was listening to a lecture by this college guy. I like to listen to intellectuals talk.
Right.
This was a couple years ago, and he was talking about if you go out into some of these Amazonian, South American wilderness. Well, not wilderness, but like the remote tribal country.
Right.
They headhunters out there. Like, they're generations of headhunters. And part of their culture is to hunt the other tribes, cut off their head, put them on sticks. And to somebody that grows up in that culture, that's normal every day.
But that's not something that you would compromise, because there is no peace in that. At that point, we
ain't
know
no peace for the person that's dead.
Exactly.
But his whole family is peaceful with it. And, and I'm not saying that the concept of peace and having an understanding of what is.
Right.
Right? Because part of dealing with conflict is recognizing that it's always going to be there, and to not have the anxiety about it.
But it can be,
away.
I feel like it could be conflict or disagreement without chaos.
Absolutely.
In anything. So you can have peace even within disagreeing.
Sure. You can.
Right.
You can.
We should.
I mean.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
I think that you can.
We like who we like. I agree.
It's
like sports. You know what I mean? We go back and forth. You You like the Eagles, I like the Cowboys, and we talk about that, but it's like it's no swaying me, right? At the end of the day, it's no swaying you, right? And I'm from Philly. Everybody say I should like. It's no swaying you as far as that team. You know, certain things people stand for stronger than other things.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? But at the end of the day,
we all are malleable though, and that's the thing. It's like, what is education? But it's just a continual convincing or a continual introduction to new information and facts. So you go in not knowing one thing, you come out feeling different.
That's true.
You feel more comfortable or confident about counting money now that you done had some lessons in it.
Right.
So it's continual growing and changing and confronting new information, taking it in, evaluating it, and you know, so that entire process is an important part of growth, and that, you know, to have any expectation that we're supposed to halt that or stop that in some way.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to take in everything.
Right.
But I mean, the process in of itself works. It's a valid process. You know, and just for the.
So can you have peace with no chaos?
Can you have peace with no chaos? I think peace is the absence of chaos.
Is the absence of chaos.
Yes, for sure.
Right.
But
so you can't have peace with chaos.
Yeah, you can have peace with chaos internally, because it's a perception thing largely, right? Because if you got cancer, if 5 people got cancer and they all terminally ill and about to die, 4 of them can be freaking out,
right?
And the other person can be at peace, or what we would say at peace. But that's a personal condition, right? That's a personal perception of the circumstances, as opposed to, you know, an objective stance. Like, they all have cancer. That's the objective truth. But my decision is to make peace or have peace about my circumstances.
The fact that you have it.
And your decision is to freak out about it.
Right.
And I don't think that freaking out is necessarily bad, because it's important. Like, if you need to cry, because sometimes that emotion will drive you to do things that you feel like you need to do for closure.
Right.
When if you just have peace and you don't care, it's like, you know. So, I mean, I think everything in moderation is what they say. And I think that the range of human emotions that we all experience all have their place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just for the record, from a religious standpoint, you know, one of the things that I oppose is this idea that Jesus, you know, when he walked the earth, was all about peace. When he said from his own mouth, "Don't think I came to bring peace.
Right.
I came to bring a sword."
Right.
Meaning I came to divide.
Right.
Right. And people use these phrases like, you know, oh, it's peace and unity and things like that. Like, yes, in certain contexts.
Now his division was between the good and the bad, though.
Between the kingdom of God.
Exactly.
And the kingdom of the enemy, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And that's indiscriminate.
But that's bringing war or division for the right thing. So what you're saying is, back to politics, the reason why you won't compromise in terms of that is due to the fact of it is the right thing.
Yeah.
At least that's
and I'm not going to make peace with certain things.
Right.
I'm not. If I feel like it's morally wrong, I can make peace with the fact that there will be conflict.
Right.
I can make peace with the fact that there will be those who don't agree with me or adhere to what I'm trying to profess.
Right.
I can make peace with those realities, those objective realities, but the concepts in of themselves, I don't have to make peace with the fact that.
How do you have peace without God?
I don't know that you truly can. I mean, I think that you can have a feeling of peace, maybe. Right? There's things that make you feel peaceful, like, you know, relaxation and stuff like that. But I'm talking about true contentment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's spiritual anyway.
Right.
It's not mental, really. It's not emotional. It's a spiritual experience to truly be at peace. And, you know, that's why the scripture says this, that the spirit gives you a peace that surpasses all understanding. Because despite your circumstances, you know, you can have peace in that. You know what I mean? So
you can,
despite your circumstances, yeah.
I mean, that's when you don't have peace, but we should. But
you can, not that you will.
The circumstances, like I said, even with the dysfunction, that's what changes it from, you know, being peaceful or having peace.
The circumstances with the dysfunction, what you mean?
I'm talking about based off of whatever you're going through. You know,
yeah.
You know, that's what kind of throws everything off. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I mean,
we got to find a way to get around circumstances, the division. Like I said, straight up, if you're doing it for the right thing and there's an understanding, then, I feel like it's good, but we got to find a way to create peace in relationships. Um,
well,
peace,
I
peace in
believe
marriages,
this,
peace
bro.
in
This is what I'm gonna say. I believe that
peace in war.
that's what I was about to say. There's a time for peace and there's a time for war. I really do believe that. I don't think like it's certain times where you should have a sense of urgency, right? It's certain times where the conflict that we experience is meant to sharpen us or empower us or improve us or challenge
God don't
us.
make no mistakes.
Right. But there is a time for war and there is a time for peace. And I think the best that we can do is to know which season we're called to
How about
at that time.
Cheers.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes you're going to have to fight and it ain't nothing peaceful about it.
Right.
But that don't make it bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
You fight for things that's important to you. We go to war like, people was upset that, Trump killed the terrorist guy, which I can't understand. But people were for some reason upset at that. But to me,
they were mad because they was like, no, now they're gonna come get us, man.
where they at? Where they at? Anyway, but it's like there's a time for retaliation. There's a time for war. Right. There's a time for fighting.
Right.
And then there's a time for peace as well, for rest, for reconciliation, for building, right? That's why you have militarily, you have peacetime, you have wartime. That's why you have to declare war.
Right.
And until you declare war, you in a peacetime. So it's, it's relevant, it's pertinent. All of those different experiences that we have a proper use, right? They have a function that we're supposed to be able to utilize and discern which is the appropriate. That's what wisdom is.
Right.
It's being able to discern the appropriate use of your utilities.
Right, because if your discernment is on a beam,
then you're going to be peaceful when it's time to be peaceful.
When it's time to be, exactly.
You're going to go to war when it's time to go to war. You're going to speak when it's time to speak. When it's time to be quiet, you're going to be quiet. That's wisdom. That's wisdom and understanding. And just the successful application of that is what makes a person wise.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's what it is.
But peace is important, even during the war, even during the battle. I don't feel like. What do you think about love and peace? Like, how do they?
Well, like I said, it's a time and place for everything. So there's some times that you're gonna have to war in love, and there's sometimes you're gonna have to have peace in love. Some love requires.
So
you
we just
fighting.
can't ever have peace. I mean,
you never
we just talk. I mean, the Bible talks about there is no life without suffering. So
you never done. Like, I think a lot of us hope, and I can understand because even I do it. It's just we hope that the next stage we get to is that's it.
Yeah.
Like we can say, all right, I done made it. Now I'm done. But when you're really done is when you're dead.
Yeah.
That's when you're done. And there's always going to be, a next level, a deeper understanding,
another test,
a new perspective,
right.
A refresher,
right.
A refresher, because we might go 10 years without experiencing a thing and we forget. I think that happens to a lot of people when they get money, they forget what it's like to be poor.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we like I said, we'll have refreshers, we'll have trials and tribulations, and we got to come through it, and we had to use that peace mentality. We had to use the war mentality when necessary. We have to use the love.
Right.
We have to use the suffering. We have to use and utilize them appropriately. You know what I mean? Keep them in proper perspective. That's why we need to maintain our relationship with truth, so that we can understand when's the proper time, when's the appropriate time to use the tools at our disposal.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but we all want peace, man. We all want love.
But it's got to be a practice. It's got to be, when you want something, you have to put it into play.
Yeah.
You can't just say you want peace and cause chaos. You can't just say you want peace and start wars unless it's, again, lucrative, or I feel like if it's a good cause. I mean, everybody disagrees. Common sense ain't really that common, because what you think makes sense,
Common sense is relative to what is common.
Right.
Right? If I grew up on a farm and you grew up in the city, my common sense ain't your common sense.
That's a fact.
Street smarts ain't the same when you ain't from the streets. So it's all relative, and that's the empathy.
Yeah.
That's when wisdom tells us to use empathy, and it's trying to understand another person's perspective.
Right.
Whether it's a woman's perspective from a man's point of view, whether it's a man's perspective from a woman's point of view,
right?
Whether it's a parent's perspective from a child's point of view, right? Black person perspective from a white person point of view, vice versa.
Right. Don't even matter.
That's what empathy is. And it's not about being correct even.
Right.
It's just about the exercise of trying to understand what another person might be experiencing.
It's all about identifying and understanding.
Yeah.
Why?
2 words.
Yeah, but why? It's my favorite 2 words. Why we ain't make that a episode yet, man?
This episode could be identifying and understanding peace.
I gotta understand patience. Patience is
hard.
It's hard.
Patience is the hard part for a lot of people.
Because you gotta endure.
Mm-hmm. You gotta endure. Not only do you have to endure, because I don't even think endurance is the hard part. I think the hard part about patience is faith.
Yeah. No,
because
you need faith.
Because if you tell me I gotta wait a week to get $1 million,
right,
that's gonna be the best week of my life.
Right.
But if you gotta tell me I gotta wait to get $1 million and you don't tell me when I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna be up the wall. I'm not gonna know what to do. I'm like, oh my gosh, should I quit my job? Like,
right.
I'm gonna be so anxious and so patience is the true. Patience is a skill.
Yeah.
But what is patience? Also, fruit of the spirit.
Right.
And so is peace.
So is peace. That's
love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. See me showing off?
Talk about it.
No, the song in Calvary. Them Calvary songs, bro.
Bro, I love Calvary Revival, dog.
Them Calvary songs. I still use that song to find the books of the Bible.
Bishop Macbeth?
Yeah, Courtney Macbeth.
Yeah.
And I even like going to church, but just going all the time, them songs.
Because we was lit.
When I be in church on Sunday,
Easter Sundays.
and they be like, all right, turn to 1 Corinthians. I'll be singing the song. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. I just sing it real quick and it just get me there. Like, man, them little tricks like that, they help.
For sure.
They help. But patience is a hard thing. And I almost feel like
I hate being patient.
Yeah. A lot of people do though, bro. I mean, I think it's a skill. I really do.
It got to be because if you're impatient, it causes so much.
You know why I think I'm patient? I think I'm patient because I'm a middle child.
Okay.
I think that's true. Because I think if you've ever been an only child or a first child, you're used to a certain level of you used to
what
a certain.
What you trying to say, dog?
I mean,
what you trying?
If the shoe fit,
what you trying to say?
I'm just saying, if you're an only child or first child, a lot of times you used to a certain reaction time.
Yeah.
Right? You used to a certain response rate.
That's true.
Right? You used to a certain appeasement to a certain extent. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that that's even bad, but it imprints on your personality to some extent.
Yeah, because you always kind of...
Like, I was the kid...
You really didn't care about anybody.
That's not true.
He loved everybody, but he didn't
overreact.
Care. He was just like,
I was the kid who ate the end piece on the loaf of bread because nobody else wanted it.
Oh, they don't want it? Okay.
Yeah, I'll just eat it.
He was the kid that played GameCube, the corniest game ever.
First of all, a lot of people had GameCube.
A lot of people like who? They sell it for $5 right now.
Anybody who played Super Smash Brothers had a GameCube, and that's like everybody, almost. But it's just... That's what I'm saying. Those beginning years, man. But patience, I think, is a skill. You got to practice it,
right?
And
we got to understand that a lot of our imperfections and the things that we don't have, patience, don't know how to show love, don't know how to be kind, don't know how to create a peace. They're because of the environments that we were brought up in and the things that we endured. There has to be a point in time where we recognize those things and actually do it. Actually do practice being patient. Actually do working on, you can't cry a river your whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There has to be a point where you get it.
But I also believe, and I really want to emphasize this, is I believe in giftedness.
Yeah, I do too.
I believe that some things come more naturally or easily to others, to some than they do to others. And that's the harm, I think, that some people do in trying to compare themselves deed for deed to another person.
Because at the end of the day, knowing that you have something that the other person doesn't have, you have to be patient.
Right. You have to be patient with them and have to be patient with yourself.
Understanding and
right. You might have more, like you was faster than me when we was kids.
I'm still faster than you.
Well,
like what?
I don't know. I'm kind of quick. I'm only fast in short bursts.
Bro,
but
you could just
I'm probably still faster than you.
You got fat, bro. You gonna be wobbling.
So what? I roll downhill. Don't race me downhill. That gravity helped me out.
Oh, downhill?
Oh, I'm not. The gravity. Just lean forward.
No.
Fall over the finish line.
Oh, my man.
But, in order for me to be as fast as you, I would have had to work a little bit harder, right? I got to wear ankle weights when you, it just is right. Just a gift.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I can't compare stride for stride. You know what I mean? But what I can compare is if I get to be as fast as you or faster than you, right? But you're at your natural speed, it's more significant for the gap that I feel because of what my personal limitations were.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I really feel like that's the basis on which we're judged by God. Like he knows what we capable of and not capable of.
And God is so patient with us.
Oh, everlasting
super patient.
Patience.
Yo, the other day, like I said, I've been going through it, so that's what made me talk about peace. But I'm like, hey man, I want to come to you, Lord, with so many different complaints. But I know amongst all my complaints, you've been patient with me.
Yeah.
And you waited a long time for me to even have this conversation with you.
Yeah.
Because it was a time where I wasn't talking to you like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's our biggest role model. If you pay attention, you tune in, we can have all the things that we desire, including patience. By the way, I was pissed back in the day when you beat me in the wrestling tournament, man. I was like, dang, they gonna have me go against my brother. And you was a little stocky and husky. You was always a little stockier and husky.
Where did that even come from?
I don't know. I was just thinking about it because you was talking about me beating you in track, dog. You beat me in wrestling, man. I was sick.
I didn't beat you in wrestling.
What happened?
First of all.
What happened?
You gonna make me tell this story?
Did I back out?
See, you remember. Stop acting like you don't remember what happened. You robbed me from that. You robbed me of that.
I didn't want you to beat me.
Yeah,
Pause.
but that's not.
I didn't want.
That's not fair. That's selfish.
I didn't want to lose.
Selfishness is not a fruit of the spirit.
It's not.
That was selfish. You robbed that from me. Like, you know what that would have done for my confidence?
Brothers Keeper podcast. The greatest ability is accountability. I'm accountable. I did rob you. Now go ahead.
You robbed me of that, man. Yeah. I said yes. Finally, my chance. Watch this.
You just knew you was
I was
gonna
like,
win.
Ooh, I can't wait to get on this mat, boy.
Yo.
Look, they try to say, oh no, he not gonna wrestle his brother. Like, no, yes, I am. You better line me up. But nah, you just like laid there.
Yeah, my bad.
And I'm like, you know what?
But I could never say it happened. Like you never won.
Exactly. And that's
I thought you won.
That's what bothered me.
Did we wrestle in practice?
No.
Oh.
No, we didn't.
Oh, our coach was Bano, right?
Mr. Bano. Richard
Damir
Carando.
Get over here now.
Come here.
It's when we lived in Virginia. But anyway, man, Brothers Keepers Podcast, episode 7. There's wisdom and peace and patience.
Identifying and understanding.
That's
peace and patience.
Identifying and understanding, peace and patience. Man, anything that we do, we try to make our podcast a little bit different. I feel like, it's definitely on another level because, like, from the beginning, this is my actual brother. But at the end of the day, we try to allow it to be a learning experience and a lesson for not only others, for ourselves too, though. I feel like, it helps us talking about it too.
For sure.
Because every time we leave here, we're now held accountable for the things that we discussed and that we're aware of, that needs to make a change. So
yeah. And just inspire, just discuss.
That's it, man.
And then
empowering. We ain't putting nobody down.
Yeah.
We all about to lift up Brothers Keepers Podcast.
Oh,